Welcome to Life Mastered, the podcast, where high achievers and ambitious souls come for the kind of support that fuels both inner growth and outer strength. This is your space for real tools and deep truths, for meeting life's greatest challenges with grace, resilience, and self-connection, and also expanding into your next level of purpose. I'm Molly Claire, your host, master coach, mentor, and guide, because life mastery is not about checking boxes. It's about how you meet yourself in every moment along the way. Let's get started. Hello, everyone. Welcome to this week's episode of Life Mastered, the podcast. Today's episode is a little bit different. So as many of you know, either from my social media or on my email list, I was in a car accident a little over a month ago. And as a result, some things got canceled, some things got pushed back. Then we had technical difficulties. All this being said, I had promised my followers a webinar, and specifically those of you who are coaches that follow me. And I was really going to hit on these topics of how to really create transformation and how to have the type of coaching skills that makes you the go-to coach. But with all the challenges and delays, it did not happen on time, but I wanted to follow through for you. So today's podcast episode is actually a recording of this training. And so if you are watching this on YouTube, you can see the video. But of course, you can also just listen in and take really good notes and get so much from it. So in this training, I'm obviously speaking to those of you who are coaches or who are beginning to learn how to become a coach. Now, I know that many of my listeners are not coaches per se. You are high achievers. You are going for that next level of mastery in your life and really evolving in your own personal growth journey. So no matter which of these categories you fall into, there is so much to be learned from this training. So take it all in, understand why we get stuck and where we can really get off track with our development or with the way that we are helping others in their development as a coach. Before we go any further, I'll also let you know that in this training, I am speaking to the opportunity to become a master coach in the new year. Holistic master coach training and certification is open for enrollment. I am taking applications. This program is next level. It is going to help you check all the boxes and not only fill the gaps that exist in your skills as a coach, but really help you understand what today's client is looking for, what they are needing. More than ever, people are self-aware. People are understanding more about what is required to grow, but yet they don't know where to get the right kind of support. And that's really what this training is about. It is about next level support to support transformation in your clients. Not to mention, we get to apply all of this work to you first. All right. This is what I've got for you. I hope you enjoy this training, and I cannot wait to bring you more guests and more episode in the weeks to come. Thank you for your patience in this. And here we go. Let's dive in. Hello, and welcome to this training where I'm talking about how to become the go-to coach, the coach that everyone refers to, even other coaches. And specifically, I'm really talking about the super skill that will allow you to stand out as the one who gets results, and really the piece that is going to give you the ability as a coach to be with your client and support them through the most difficult challenges. That's what this is really about. I think that there are a lot of coaches out there. There are good coaches out there, but to be a great coach, the kind that can support your client in the greatest transformations of their life, that's pretty exciting. And that's what we're talking about right here. So in case you're new in this space, of course, I'm Molly Claire. I am a master certified coach. I founded Holistic Master Coach Training and Certification and have taught multiple advanced trainings as well. I've been in the coaching industry for a while now, and over the last decade have spent much of my time not just coaching clients and building my business, but training coaches, training master coaches, teaching and cultivating the skills you need to stand out and to no longer be stuck or frustrated with your clients. So that's what we're talking about today. I am a two-time best-selling author. Of course, my podcast has been around for a few years now. And above all, I'm really just here as someone in solidarity with you as people who are eager to change the world and make it a better place. So here's a little about what you can expect today. We're going to talk about getting a new understanding of why your clients get stuck. We're going to talk about what most coaching programs miss entirely. And I'm also going to share with you the 3-step process that the most skilled holistic master coaches in my program use to reliably create transformation. Okay? You're going to learn the deeper skill gap that most coaches don't even know exists. So let's talk about what does it look like when a client gets stuck. The client gains awareness, but they don't necessarily make changes. How many times have you experienced this? How about having the same conversations over and over again, week after week with your client, and nothing seems to be moving? Oftentimes, your clients can feel overwhelmed, confused, shut down, or spinning, right? Sound familiar? Sound familiar to you also, right? For you in your personal life? The client feels stuck. And they may even say, I don't know, and become frustrated with the lack of progress in your work, which of course is frustrating for you as a coach as well, right? So let's talk about that. What does it look like for you as a coach when your client is stuck? Feeling frustration with your client, right? Maybe doubting yourself, your skills, your abilities, wondering what's missing. How do I reach this client? Maybe worry that you're not doing enough or not doing enough of the right things. Pretty terrible feeling, right? Maybe even fear that you're losing the client or disappointing them. And of course, our favorite, imposter syndrome, right? Why can't I help them break through this? Maybe I'm just not cut out for this. So if you relate to many of these, you're not alone. When our clients are stuck and we don't feel equipped to help them, it creates this tension and this frustration. You're not alone in what you're experiencing because, of course, we are helpers and you want to help your clients. That's why you became a coach to begin with, right? So, and truly, it's not your fault. Most coaching programs do not teach the full picture of what your clients need to get results. Most likely, you don't have the full picture and it can make it difficult to move past these hurdles. Now, let's talk a little bit about what we might think the problem is. Oftentimes, coaches can think, well, my client's just not motivated enough. They're not willing to do the work, right? Or we can think, well, this is just a mindset issue. I've got to find a way to get them to shift their way of thinking. You may think, I just need to push this client a little bit harder. They need a little bit more of a push. Or you may even, on the flip side, think they're just not ready, right? You may think the client is too difficult and they're not willing to do what it takes to move things forward. So if you relate to any of these ways of thinking, clearly you're not alone because we're talking about them right here, right? As common things we think the problem can be. And it's definitely frustrating when you feel incapable of helping your clients. And what I want to say is it doesn't have to be this way. I have seen and worked with thousands of coaches, hundreds of master coaches. And in my program with my holistic master coaches, I have seen them go from constantly getting stuck and frustrated with clients to feeling such a sense of ease and flow and that ability to always meet the client where they are and guide transformation. Okay, so it does not have to be so frustrating when you're stuck with a client. Let's talk about what's really going on. Usually what this is about is clients having a disconnection from their emotional world. And this is, I feel like, an epidemic, to be honest with you. Most of us were taught to disconnect from our feelings. And what I'll tell you is when you learn this piece, the emotional connection you can facilitate with your clients by learning the emotional integration piece of this puzzle means that you can release even the greatest resistance. It means you can remove the most challenging blocks and you can allow the greatest forward momentum to take root, which is a big deal. Okay. The truth about your client's internal world, and yours too, by the way, mine as well, is that our clients don't know how to be with, interpret, or navigate their emotional landscape. Your clients, and maybe you even, treat emotions as problems to be solved. They override their feelings to appear functional, right? We have all of these ways that we go about life, achieving and people pleasing and accomplishing and doing all these things to try to solve for our feelings and feel better. But what we're really doing is overriding these feelings. Many of your clients are cut off from the information their emotions provide, which we're going to talk more about. Survival patterns, like I've just mentioned, people pleasing, achievement, things to do to get that outside validation, replace genuine self knowing and self connection and cohesion within the self. And oftentimes, emotions feel unsafe, inconvenient, or even irrelevant. So, this is what's going on for many people, many of us, many of your clients, if not all of your clients. Now, let's talk about the power of other tools and approaches because I'm really hitting hard on this emotional component. And it's also true that the nervous system and mindset and the right strategies play a role in supporting transformation, right? And so while nervous system regulation and dysregulation contributes, it's not the full story. Mindset tools absolutely help. The power of our mind is unbelievable, but without emotional attunement, clients cannot integrate new ways of thinking. Action plans will collapse when the emotional groundwork is missing, which is why people can have a plan that's set up, but what happens? Do we follow through or do we quit? So when you can integrate the emotional landscape and learn it well, they all fit together like a symphony. Okay, emotions are so powerful. Emotions reveal needs, values, priorities, boundaries, and purpose. And for those of you that are watching this on the screen, if you're just listening to this in podcast form, no problem at all. But those of you that are watching this on the screen as I'm talking through this, I want you to look at these words and really think about it. Our needs, our values, priorities, boundaries, purpose. What big words these are, right? And we're going to talk more about why these are revealed. But if we think about the things your clients are coming to you, wanting to have their needs more fulfilled in their relationships, wanting to learn how to prioritize what's going on in their life, right, according to their values, wanting to set boundaries, wanting to feel more of a sense of purpose. Our emotions and getting to know them reveal these very things. Also, when clients reconnect with their emotional world, resistance will dissolve. And this is where breakthroughs can actually happen. So this brings me to something that most coaching programs completely overlook. So when we look at the landscape of coaching programs, there are so many, right? There are a dime a dozen. Someone can get certified in an hour or 3 hours over a weekend or whatever, right? And so we see a huge range between that and then full-blown deep dive courses into coaching. And while more programs are now finally teaching nervous system basics, a good program, right? Not all of them are. And more are addressing mindset, which is fantastic. And there are plenty that are even integrating more somatic and trauma sensitive approaches, also necessary. I believe the nervous system and mindset and this body work and trauma sensitive approach is all necessary. And I'm so glad that it's becoming more prevalent. But here is what most still do not teach. A comprehensive skill set for cultivating a self relationship with emotions. And I'm going to go through this, bullet point by bullet point here with you. What this really means is how to help clients understand their emotions without collapsing into them or being overwhelmed by them. This is all about how we explore what's underneath the emotion for our clients and how their emotions connect with their own needs, their own worldview, their own self-identity, and how these emotions connect with their patterns. When we can understand how to cultivate this self relationship with emotions, this is how we can help our clients feel safe, deeply safe. And this is how we can translate emotional signals into forward movement. And let's talk about why this matters. Truly, without this, everything stays surface level. Insights cannot become embodiment. Patterns will repeat in our lives, so we can have a little bit of a fix, but the patterns will come up again and again, because the fact of the matter is that we have emotional patterns in our emotional world. And so those patterns are going to play out, right? In the mind, in thoughts and behaviors. It also matters because otherwise clients will stay in resistance. And what happens is that progress, changes that are made, can feel fragile, inconsistent, or temporary. This is why emotional work is the cornerstone of my holistic master coach training. I'm teaching you mindset, nervous system foundations, habit formation, accountability, yes, yes, yes to all of it, and a trauma-informed approach. But without the emotional fluency, none of these tools can reach their full power. This is the missing layer that truly can make everything else click. And as you can tell, I get pretty fired up about it because I've lived trying to make these other tools in isolation work for me. And I've coached trying to make them work for my clients, doing powerful, deep mindset work, really incredible. And it has limits. It has limits. And when we can have this broader view and integrate it, it doesn't have to have those limits. And this is a big deal. So let's now talk about these 3 steps that I mentioned that my holistic master coaches use over and over again. This is the beginning of master coach training. We really hit hard on this because I don't know if you know this or not, but when they look at therapy and they look at, and I know we're talking about coaching here, and I actually want to take a minute to distinguish that there is clearly, when I'm talking about this type of coaching work, there is obviously crossover between the therapy and the coaching world because we're paying attention to our clients' thoughts. We're paying attention to their emotions. We're working in that space with them. And so it's like I always say in my training when I'm teaching my coaches, there's a very blurry line and a very clear line at the exact same time in terms of when someone should work with a coach and when they should work with a therapist or when they should work with both. And that's one of the things that we distinguish in the program and really talk about because it's important as a coach that you don't stop yourself from doing the valuable work you can do. We don't want to be fearful. And also we want to understand when something is outside of our scope, right? And so let's go back to what I'm saying. So when we look at therapy and we look at the outcomes, the research is clear that while modality, approach, method, there are different variations on how effective they are, the biggest indicator of success is if a patient or client feels safe in the relationship with their therapist. It is the relationship that they have. It is that relationship, that trust, right? And therefore, that is what cultivates that sense of safety to make progress possible, to make the modalities work, right? And so the same thing applies in the coaching space. And I would argue just about anywhere, right? We've got to have that relationship of trust when someone is guiding or supporting or helping someone. So while many coaches think results come from better questions, better frameworks, or better strategies, the real foundation of lasting change is being able to create and maintain safety. And I mean, let's talk about why the safety matters, right? I've already kind of beat this, but I'm going to just like keep beating a dead horse here. Like this really matters. If a client does not feel emotionally, relationally, and nervous system safe, they will stay guarded. They avoid vulnerable truths. They cannot access the deeper layers of what's going on, and the brain will protect them from change. And this applies to all of us. When we can experience a deep sense of safety in ourselves, in our body, in our world, in our community, in our relationships, when we experience a deep sense of safety in these spaces, that is where we can see more. And when we can see more within us, we have more opportunity for change. Okay, so safety, safety, safety is a big deal. So let's talk about these 3 steps I'm referencing. We're going to go through each of these. But number 1, establish a foundation of safety and trust within the relationship. Number 2, always, always, always validate and normalize their human experience. And number 3, pay attention to permission from the client and going at the client's pace. So let's break each of these down, okay? Let's start with number 1. Establish a foundation of safety and trust. Clear agreements with a coach and client are vital. Consistency is going to be vital, right? And co-created goals. And I say co-created goals, and really what I mean by this, because I know many coaches, you have different flavors of coaching, right? But the idea is that you are on the same page. You are both there in solidarity of and in service to the client's best interest. And that is a big deal to be in that space of on the same page, on the same team, moving toward the same goal. The second thing you see here on the screen, consent, consent, consent. You always want to ask the client for consent before going into any space, before teaching something, before trying something out. If I'm going to invite my clients to go into an emotional space, I want to ask them, hey, could we go into an emotional space here? Hey, client, are you okay if we do some tapping, right? And even when I'm working with my master coaches where we're in training and we're on the calls, we're in the classroom and we are maybe discussing a certain topic and I see that maybe some coaching going into some work with the client is helpful. I don't just dive into that. I say, hey, I'm wondering, would you be okay if we took a look at some of your thinking here? Or if we could take a look at from an emotional perspective, could we move into a coaching space? And I always want to get consent and I always want to give them permission that it's okay to say no, thank you, right? So we've got to have that consent as part of the foundation of safety and trust for sure. Also, having a pace that's going to match the client's capacity. We don't want to move our client too fast, too quickly, or to a place they are not ready to go. The other thing that you can have to create that safety is regulated presence from the coach. What does this mean? It means that right? We have to understand our own emotional world. We have to understand our own nervous system. We need to be doing the work first and foremost so that we can be steady and present. And that's exactly why when my coaches come in for holistic master coach training and they're there to learn this work, it is a you go first process. And so for some of my clients, I say, hey, this whole year we're making this all about you. This work is all about how you learn your emotional world, how you learn your patterns, how you learn your nervous system, how you learn your mind. And inevitably, it's going to have that ripple effect, but that has to happen first so that we can be solid for our clients. And then finally here with this establishment of foundation of safety and trust, attunement to the client's signals. When do we notice if they're getting a bit dysregulated? When do we notice if things are getting pushed a little too far? And can we check in and say, hey, how are you doing? Would it be better if we took a step back? Would you like to slow down? What's coming up for you? So number 1 here, establish that foundation of safety and trust. Number 2, validate and normalize the human experience. This is really making sure that we are making space for all emotions. We have such a tendency to judge our emotions as good or bad or wrong, or having certain emotions as making us a bad person. And so as coaches, it's vital that we make space for all emotions and show how very normal all emotions are. Also, creating an acceptance of behavior patterns as patterns without moralizing them, right? Because your client knows the behaviors that they don't like. They know the behaviors that they don't want to have. So the last thing we need to do is bring a critical judgment of them. We want to really normalize them and say, let's be curious about these behavior patterns, because when we can be curious and when we can make space for the emotions and when we can coach them well, we can help them to make intentional choices, right? Without the judgment, but with every bit of actual results in what they're wanting to change. Validating and normalizing the human experience is also helping clients understand how their nervous system works and helping them to really feel seen and heard instead of valued. And all of this comes down to really normalizing human biology and human psychology, because we all have the same things going on in our brain and in our body. We all have the same things going on in our nervous system. It's always just a a little bit different flavor. And so when we can look at that as such and normalize it, we're able to see more. And when we can see more, we have so much more power. Let's talk about the third one, permission and pace. So we really want to give permission for your client to set the pace of the sessions and the coaching progress. We also want to have encouragement of forward momentum with a sense of safety built in. How are you feeling about this? How is your body feeling? Are you noticing feeling emotionally activated? How can we create safety so you can move forward with this plan in a way that's actually going to work? This is really about a collaborative approach rather than a forceful approach, and really leading with the client's internal signals instead of our agenda. And this is really what builds true internal trust as well as consistency. When coaches can reliably create emotional safety, validation, and permission, clients will naturally open, naturally explore, and naturally shift. Deep safety allows deep awareness, and it facilitates the deep transformation that your clients are craving. This is what we're all wanting, right? We're wanting this transformation and this peace, and this sense of safety and emotional attunement is what brings this about. These challenges that we face really truly can be solved by taking a holistic approach to coaching and investing in honing in your skills. Truly, one approach, one method, one modality is not enough. As coaches, I believe we owe it to ourselves and our clients to continue to expand our learning always and forever, and to understand how different pieces of the puzzle actually fit together. So let's talk a little bit more about this. In the next few slides, I'm going to be talking a little bit about my holistic approach and the program that I offer you to get Master Coach certified with a holistic approach and what it covers. And so as we move through these next few slides, I'm going to be telling you a little bit about this training. And ultimately, if this training and this video is resonating with you and you're seeing that there's more here for you to learn, I want to encourage you to apply for the program. Even if you're feeling like, well, I'm really called to this, I'm compelled, but I don't know if I'm ready. Always, 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 it's a good idea to submit that application. Tell me a little bit about you. And with my team, I review these applications, and then we will help you to figure out what is best for you. So let's keep going here, all right? So what is a holistic approach to coaching? It's really an understanding of human biology as it relates to creating change. A holistic approach means training in the nervous system, emotion-focused work, cognition, and action strategies for you and for your clients. It teaches the value of each piece of the puzzle in isolation and as a whole. How do these fit together? I know I've had a lot of coaches that have learned some somatic work, and they've learned a little about the nervous system, and they've learned about different things, but this program really helps you to integrate all of them, which is really pretty cool. Really, the result of this is greater confidence, effectiveness, and safety as a coach. And the fact of the matter is that great coaching is going to get results, and results get referrals, and results get renewals. And that's what we want to have, right? We want to have this business that's just got people coming in the door all the time because we're doing such great work. Let's talk for a minute about why a comprehensive approach matters. Mindset work in isolation can actually be detrimental. And I know this is a big word and a strong word, and I don't use it lightly. If we are using mindset without an understanding of how the nervous system works and how our emotions come into play, and that not all emotions begin with a thought that we can access and see, if we're going with that approach, we're going to have clients that are actually disconnecting from their bodies, disconnecting emotionally, and that is going to be detrimental in the long term. It also matters because emotional blocks will stunt progress. We all know what that's like. We've seen it over and over again. It matters as well because when a client is experiencing nervous system dysregulation, it is very difficult to create changes. It is very difficult to have that pliability of the mind so that mindset work can be effective. And ultimately, the client is going to end up getting frustrated, and so will you. It's also important to have this type of approach because we want to be aware of trauma responses. You've got to be trauma informed. You've got to be a safe and ethical coach. And of course, also actions or action strategies without the right support of this comprehensive approach can actually increase frustrations for your clients and for you. Because we all know what it's like when we have a plan and we're moving forward. And then I emotionally ate. I fell off the wagon. I was in a bad place mentally. And then it can just increase not just frustration, but kind of reinforce this idea for you or your clients that we're not able to make change, that we're not able to stay the course. So these are some of the big reasons why this comprehensive approach really does matter. And if you're listening to this, I know you're already bought into the idea that coaching matters and personal development matters, obviously, or you wouldn't be here. But I think it can also be easy for us as coaches um, especially because we have our own thoughts about ourselves coming into play, right? And it can feel like, well, there are so many coaches, like the market's oversaturated, and we can have all of these thoughts about coaching like that. And that's why I have this slide here to remind all of us. The demand for personal development services, including life coaching, is on the rise. And what does this mean? With this increased awareness around mental health, productivity, and holistic well-being, more people are seeking out coaches. And this is why it is worth it for us to seek the knowledge, seek the understanding, build the skills to be the best. The US life coaching market was valued at 1.5 billion in 2022 and is expected to surpass 2.29 billion in 2032. This is a significant increase and one worth paying attention to if you're here in this coaching industry. I'm going to say a few things here about Master Coach training specifically. And again, if you are interested, if you are curious, I definitely recommend that you click the link that is here wherever you're watching this. There is a link there that will direct you to the Master Coach training and certification page where you can read more about it. And more importantly, you can apply, submit your application. Master Coach training is the ultimate high-level coach training. It covers the 4 foundations of holistic coaching. You will learn about specialized niches to help differentiate you in the field. You will have application opportunities as you have case study calls. And truly, you will be able to have advanced skills to stand out as the best in your industry, the go-to coach. I have put this program together because I know there are so many options for development as a coach. And I really wanted to have a place where you can have it all, where you can learn not only mindset, emotion work, nervous system, and actions, but also dive into different niches, which I'll talk about in just a minute, and have the type of help you need to be effective at what you do and also to have some business support as well. The Master Coach training core content, of course, is this advanced cognitive mastery, which is mindset work that is safe, effective, and ethical. It is emotion-focused modalities, including EFT, where you'll learn how to tap in a 5-part masterclass. You will have nervous system and trauma-informed training, and you will also learn about the effective action-focused strategies. So this is the core content in the program. This is an interesting statistic to know. Coaching that incorporates cognitive, behavioral, and emotional support strategies. Did you know this means a 70% higher success rate on behavior-dependent goals? Okay, in comparison to those that only have a plan or information. So this shows it's like a plan. We want to change behaviors if we have behavior-dependent goals. 70% higher success rate if we have that cognitive, behavioral, and emotional support strategy in place. Pretty big deal, right? You can see on the screen, this is one of my master coaches, Jenny. She's a career aptitude test. She is amazing at what she does, has years of experience. And when she came to master coach training, it up-leveled everything for her. She said it has been incredibly valuable. And I love, she had said, I can't say enough about how it has enhanced my life and my business and how I have grown. She said, I am a much better coach because of it. I am more grounded and healed in my journey too, which I really appreciate. And that is my favorite part always of what I hear from my clients. I'm going to touch here a little about niche specialty with Master Coach training. In this program, you can differentiate yourself with specialty training, including goals and productivity we cover. We cover motherhood, parenting, and family life, healthy relationships in an entire relationship segment where we're also covering things about boundaries and abuse and societal conditioning and how all that plays into it. You're going to be studying grief, finance, wellness, and more. So this is kind of a highlight of some of these niches that we cover. Here is another testimonial from Jenny. She said, I'm feeling more confident now that I can offer a balanced approach to my clients. And I love Jenny's testimonial because she said she came here to be the best coach that she could be. And now she feels more confident. Her approach feels more balanced. And she knows that she can always adapt to her clients' needs since she has so many new skills and tools to use. And Jenny Percy is a certified decluttering coach for busy moms, and she is amazing. Let me talk here about the case study calls. This is where you can get personalized help with your client cases. This is really going to help you increase your self-trust. What happens is we come to these calls, you present your cases, and I'm there to help guide you through. We're going to find out where you're getting stuck. We're going to help develop and strengthen your own coaching style. And on these calls, I'm able to give you guidance. And of course, you're surrounded with other master coaches as well. These case study calls really help you approach your sessions with so much more confidence and ease. Here's a testimonial from the amazing Michelle. She said, the case study calls are amazing and give us a chance to work on things we are struggling with in our client sessions. She said, it's great to have the opportunity to work with Molly and see things from a new perspective. I'm telling you, everyone loves these calls. They are pure gold. A good reminder here that 92% of people trust referrals from family and friends over any other form of advertising. And this makes sense, right? I know when I need a referral, who am I going to go to? I'm going to go to who I know and who I trust. Let's talk for just a minute about featured guest experts. One of my favorite things about this program is that while I teach about 70% of the material, we have master instructions with advanced certifications and specialties, and they are able to come in and teach you. Some of the experts you'll learn from, if you can see the screen, you see these amazing faces here. Of course, I will be there as your master instructor. You will have Lindsay Pullman, who specializes in relationship trauma. She is amazing at what she does. We've got Leah Davidson, who specializes in the nervous system. She offers an advanced training in the nervous system, and she teaches this portion of the program in Master Coach training. Melanie Fay is our EFT Mastery Coach. She teaches the tapping portion. Then there is Krista St. Germain, who is a Master Grief and Growth Coach, and she brings the grief module to life and really helps to really integrate and understand the different types of grief and bereavement, because the fact of the matter is your clients are all going to experience some level of grief along the way, and some will be hit pretty hard with it. Mickey Gardner is a conscious parenting coach, and she is phenomenal. And she specializes in co-parenting. She's also a best-selling author and just an incredible, incredible teacher. Here's another fantastic testimonial from Robin Graham. Dr. Robin Graham has many certifications, a lot of credentials, a lot of letters behind her name, and she was blown away by how much the program increased her effectiveness. She said, Molly is brilliant at coaching and instructing others how to be the best possible master coach. Her program is robust, and the added personal coaching and case study calls offer opportunities to be coached, but also to experience invaluable mentorship opportunities. I highly recommend Molly and her Master Coach Training Certification program. The truth is, when you have skill mastery and feel confident as a coach, your confidence as a business owner will grow. Building your skills means more referrals and a service-focused business. And when you can expand your view to a more holistic approach, your style of coaching will be more effective and create deeper transformations for your clients. Such a big, big win. Thank you for being here. Thank you. Thank you. I have a couple more testimonials to share, but here's what I want to say. If you're feeling called to this work, you want to learn more, I recommend that you apply now. This program is high touch and personalized, and it should be right for you. Go to mollyclaire.com, click on Master Coach Training and Certification, check it out, and that is where you can apply to be a part of this program. And I'm telling you, the support, the personalization, and how you will grow personally in this is unmatched. And in terms of having a broad view and also specific skills for your clients, there is nothing else like it. Here's a beautiful testimonial from Marianne, and with this, I will close up. Molly has brought a whole new approach and perspective to coaching. She has given extensive insight and guidance. My own experience with Molly has been one filled with safety, trust, and integrity. And I want to leave you with that. What a gift it is to be able as coaches to learn what we need to learn to support our clients in feeling seen, heard, valued, and safe to create the deepest transformations. Thanks so much for being here. Hopefully, I will catch you on another training very soon. And hopefully, I will be seeing your application in my inbox. I would love to work with you. Let's create a ripple effect and let's make the world better. All right, I'll talk with you soon. Thanks for being here and for investing this time in you. Keep showing up. Keep meeting yourself with compassion. That's truly what Life Mastery is all about. If you loved this episode, make sure to subscribe so you never miss an episode. And I would be honored if you would take the time to leave me a review. This ensures that this important work will get in the hands of more people. And if you're ready to take this work deeper, join me at mollyclaire.com where you can find all of the ways we can work together. I'll talk with you next week.